Man, in this world of social media, one photo, one single photo could have a domino effect that could end up getting you murked. All it takes is that one simple photo mistakenly getting posted, or even posted on purpose showing your location or what jewelry you're rocking, and people that are just lurking on your story that might not even be your fans, man, they could even be your fans, just waiting for you to slip up just so they can take advantage, man. It happens all the time, and unfortunately for the rising rapper and Trippie Redd associate Chris King, this small mistake is looking like it might be what contributed to him losing his life.
And police are looking for 3 suspects in a fatal Midtown shooting. We're learning police say 32-year-old Christopher Cheeks was killed in
a brazen double shooting in Nashville, Tennessee, man. The underground rap world was pretty much stunned when news broke on Friday that Chris King was a victim of senseless gun violence. There was tributes from DJ Scheme, Trippie Redd, and Justin Bieber. Bro was an up-and-coming rapper with connections and drive that...
Now, speaking of Trippie Redd, right, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe if you ain't subscribed, but that's the whole point of us watching this video, right? I wasn't super familiar with Chris King, right, but apparently him and Trippie was close, and you know, it was a situation where Trippie, I guess, didn't show up to Chris's funeral, and I think RJ had a lot to say about it. Like, he had an opinion about Trippie, and he just felt like Chris King was owed a little bit more than that from Trippie Redd, as far as, like, you know, their relationship and he, you know, just the personal conversations he say him and Chris had. Like, he said Chris would have took bullet for Trippie Redd, so he don't understand why you know, the energy wasn't reciprocated a little bit. You feel me? But we gonna keep it lit, and we gonna kind of, like, you know, bust down about the RJ and Trippie Redd situation.
It honestly made it a huge surprise when people saw that he lost his life this weekend. You know, I would have never have guessed looking at Chris King, especially just seeing him on social media and how he interacted with fans and would pull up and just be outside. But when more details have actually come out in his final hours, it actually paints a crazy picture of what can go wrong if you just happen to be at the wrong place at the wrong time, man. Today we got to get into the beef that ended the 1400 rapper Chris King right now, and what went down in the situation in Nashville that ended up ending his life right now. But before we do, man, you already know what we got to do, man. Like, comment, subscribe. We're on the road to 100K subscribers, man. Make sure you tap into that merch link in the description and hit that notification bell so whenever I post, y'all tune in right away. No reoccurring viewers, man. We're going to tap into this mad sad situation right now, man. Let's get into it. Chris King was a super slept on rapper coming out of Fontana, California. Growing up in that dusty shithole that is the Inland Empire, bro had very little options but to find a way and go and get it. He eventually started selling lean, going out in Los Angeles trying to build connections. Because of his real love for music though, he was always trying to be a rapper. While in LA, he was able to tap in and get into a good relationship with Trippie Redd.
So he from Fontana, right? That's why RJ was saying, oh, he the reason. You know, Chris is the reason that Trippie Redd could even, like, be comfortable in LA, and for him to, you know, not, like, do certain things or, you know, be treated how RJ perceived he was treated after death. You like, it don't make no sense. But and then, right, but RJ did say Trippie jumped in his DMs though, like talking crazy, but we're gonna get into all that in a second.
It basically became a staple of his entourage and, you know, the whole 1400 era. Bro was really one of the early people around Trippie in the early SoundCloud days, making a name for himself on his feature on Trippie Redd's song Love Scars Part 2, which in the underground SoundCloud era was a huge hit. It was honestly one of his biggest songs at the time, and pretty much from that point on he was solidified in the underground rap world and had connections that reached as far as apparently Justin Bieber, man. But fast forward several years after Trippie Redd's peak, it looked like Chris's career was starting to slow down as well. It felt like this whole group was sort of, you know, going through the natural stages of a SoundCloud artist. Obviously Trippie Redd is pretty far outside of his peak. If he's that far out of his peak, Imagine how it would have been for Chris King. You know, he obviously probably wasn't getting shows as much. The money started probably slowing up as much, and probably had to do a lot of things on the side to try to make it through and pay bills. It seemed like he wasn't really getting LA shows like that, and that could have been a contributing factor into his downfall, because in the last couple of days of him being alive, he got booked for a show that was pretty far from his usual stomping grounds in California, out in Nashville, Tennessee, and unfortunately it ended up being his last, man. And we got to get exactly into what happened down there.
And if I'm not mistaken, right, one of the cats in the picture that they was SoundCloud, I think he didn't turn into a girl, right? He didn't turn into, like, he didn't transition and start wearing like skirt. I forget his name, but he was signed a Lil Wop. That's his name, Lil Wop. So that's who Lil Wop was a part of the whole little 1400 clique. That's you know, that's some strange shit, man.
Although Chris King was sort of on the tail end of his career, he was still getting booked. And the only issue being that the shows were nowhere near LA. In his last couple days, Chris King actually got booked out for a show at the Canada Festival in Nashville. It's 420 weekend, so you know, the day before 420, they had all these weed brands basically set up out that way at a park in Nashville. And for Chris King, it seemed like the festival he pulled up to was just like a low-key weed smoking festival. And he pretty much posted his entire day on Instagram. And that was part of the red flag that I kind of saw. So when you were looking at his story, if you followed him, you saw that he was flexing like his rollie and stuff, and basically flexing his change, and was posted up just out in the field, not with like a large group, just, you know, basically by himself. Pulled up to the festival, did a low-key show, pulled up, and it was pretty lit. But I feel like that was definitely the beginning of the end. Flexing his watch and flexing his chain. Obviously in LA you probably shouldn't do that, but people are used to that. But out there, people would definitely see that and be like looking at you like a lick. And I feel like these rappers be off the gas and off the lean, just vibing off the shits, and don't really be thinking about their environment, or just the fact that these broke dudes around them that might be kicking it or nearby will do anything for $1. Because while the show and his performance seemed like a success, he went to the studio afterwards.
But check this though, right? You heard he just said Chris wasn't having as much motion as, like, because he was at the tail, basically he was kind of like at the tail end of his motion for that time, right? Until you know, it's what you do for me lately, and if you ain't doing nothing right now, you know, that should have start to fade. So if that was the case, right, and you see how it's like pocket watching. Them niggas was pocket watching and thinking it's something bigger than what it was, right? And you trying to take it, like, you just hating it and worried about another nigga, and you don't even know his actual situation just because a motherfucker making it look good. You hating, and that should be just, it's like, man, it's so much misguided energy in the community, like with our folks and our peoples, and it just be like, man, that's, you know, it make you really don't want to like, you know, it make you don't want to fuck with niggas, right? But it's crazy because it's either you just don't fuck with no niggas, because it's you got niggas right here who just all the way ignorant, then you got niggas right here who just might be uppity and might fucking testify, just policey and shit, like too much of a law-abiding citizen. You can't find that happy medium, because you know the system then fucked us, then fuck niggas over, you know what I'm saying, for so long. So for you to just feel like hella compliant with it and not like, it's like, you know what I'm trying to say.
Do features, and it would be his lack of awareness though that would ultimately lead to his downfall in a shooting that would go down just a couple hours after being in the studio.
And police are looking for 3 suspects in a fatal Midtown shooting. We're learning police say 32-year-old Christopher Cheeks was killed and another 29-year-old man was injured. The victim said he and Cheeks were hanging out before a group of 3 suspects tried to rob them. It was during that time shots were fired. The 29-year-old was taken to the hospital for his injuries. Cheeks was found in the parking garage of the Hayes Street Hotel. He was taken to Vanderbilt, where he later died.
Early Saturday morning, about 2:30 a.m., a shooting was reported at the 1909 Hayes Street Metro. Nashville police said. Someone even posted it on their Snapchat story, reporting that someone had gotten shot over in an alley type way. Police responded and found one person was killed and another person injured in a shooting in an alleyway between Hayes and Church Streets early Saturday morning. Homicide detectives are still active and trying to find leads. The fatal shooting of Christopher Cheeks, aka Chris King was reported, and he was reportedly killed at the scene. And another 29-year-old man was also injured. But police were able to paint a story of what exactly had kind of gone down that night. So police believe that Cheeks, aka Chris King, was at the location with friends when three men began interacting with the group. The police said that the 29-year-old victim reported the group was hanging out cordially for some time before three suspects attempted to rob his group of friends. It was then that he heard gunfire and realized he was struck. The victim, Cheeks, aka Chris King, and their other friends ran off in separate directions. The 29-year-old was found on Church Street and was transported to Vanderbilt University Medical Center for treatment. However, Cheeks was found in the parking lot garage of the Hayes Street Hotel, and he was taken to Vanderbilt where he was reportedly dead. The initial report that police gave made it seem like as though they had been plotting on Chris King and had pulled up on him. There were initial rumors online that he had been set up or something like.
Hey man, rest in peace Chris King, right? Shout out Stay Safe World. Go tap into his channel, subscribe if y'all ain't subscribed, right? It's this video called The Eerie Beef That Ended Chris King. Rest in peace to him. Condolences to his family, right? But if you definitely want to see the whole video, go tap in there. The whole point though was, right, I'm watching back on Figs, and I see RJ. I didn't even know him and Trippie was having issues like that, but he explaining like where him and Trippie issues stem from, and apparently he was disappointed at how, you know, Trippie was handling like the situation with Chris after he done met his untimely demise. He felt like, you know, Trippie wasn't being loyal. Like, you just wasn't, that wasn't no solid shit. You ain't show up to the funeral, whatever it is, that and the third. I guess Trippie called Win and called RJ. You feel me? Just was on him, like, nigga calling him bitches and just saying all type of shit, right? On the nigga phone, and just, you know, with popping it. And the nigga RJ took offense to that, of course. And he had some more words for Trippie, where he did a freestyle and shit. I think the freestyle was on Bootleg Kev, where you just type in RJ diss Trippie Redd, and you probably see it. I'll probably react to that too. I want to hear what he was talking about. RJ be busting, nigga got talent. Trippie got talent, you know what I'm saying? But the niggas is at odds over this situation, and it's just a trip. Like, it shocked me though that when he say Trippie got in his DM like talking crazy, like, damn, that's how Trippie push you. Like is it the money, or is it just like just as on some man shit? Like, hold on, nigga, what the fuck? But he say Trippie called him with 5 other niggas on the phone. It's like, nigga, if you was really, what you need 5 other niggas? Like, what's going, like, you know? But then on the other end, it's like, I can understand though, like, Trippie nigga being offended though. Regardless, like, nigga, who the fuck you think you is? Like, you talking about, nigga, what this, that? I can see both sides though. You know, like, when a nigga speak on a situation, right? And I fucks with RJ, I fuck with Trippie, but when a nigga speak on a certain situation, I can see how a nigga could be offended regardless of who you fucking think you is. It's like, what? And then I could also see RJ thinking like, nigga, I got a pen, and who the fuck is you? Nigga, you talking about you nigga, you a part of this thing of ours. Fuck is you talking about, nigga? You know? And I just see both sides. But yeah, y'all let me know what y'all think, man, down below, man. Like I said, rest in peace Chris King, man. This shit crazy. Like, I do kind of, now that I'm watching this shit, I do remember. It's kind of like refreshing my memory. I do kind of remember like this situation though, and I remember them niggas talking about it, and you know. But yeah,